Hello there, and we're going to be going over a tech deck of my bakugan deck that I usually play for the most part. I haven't posted a bakugan video in a while, so I might as well. The deck I run is going to go ahead and be a aquos, darkus, and haos deck. And the main point of this deck is going to be core control and rerolls, because I find that it's really easy to overall deal with bakugan decks that rely on needing certain cores, like Haos Titan Ilias. You can do certain things like Consort, which you can actually take. You can go ahead and take some cores off the field to help with that. And there is also Fixation, which you can use to be able to help deny team attacks if they get a little ahead. My main point that I try to use is Mega Punch to thin. I go ahead and use Mega Punch to go ahead and try to thin the cores out. Taking more cores off the field, I find it's just easier for them to miss rolling and just take all the blue shields that they have with Consort. Kind of denies them that, things of such nature. And a lot of the reroll cards I do have, I have Darkus Slicer, I have Deep Dive, Spirit Guide right here, which is another one. I use those for a lot of boosting as well. I do use Inspire, though. That is a good card that I like to use, but honestly, you can probably run Aquify, and that might be a little bit better just because you switch your core with your opponent's core. It works. As for the stop cards, I run 3 of Stand Together and Pact of Darkness I have 2 of. And then I have a Counter Outsiders. If I didn't actually use Counter Outsiders, I probably would actually have another Pact of Darkness, but black's more common than blue. Stand Together, I have core control, so I just need more of that overall. The background that I am using with this right now, I do have a Cracolius, I can't say this worth darn, it's the Kraken dude. I'm going to go ahead and use 2 Helix, and then I use the Aquos and the Haos version of them. They do have Green Fist, so it does help with Mega Punch. Get that on the field pretty reliably. One drawback that I do have, though, is they have high B power, but for the most part, they don't do a lot of damage, so I am relying on my other cards to deal that damage. Darkus Slicer is a really good one about that, just because I grab a Green Fist. As long as I have high B power, I can just increase and deal a lot of damage. Combos really well with Mega Punch. Other cards that deal damage as well is going to be Haos Blessing. You get 4 damage and reroll. And I have a couple other cards like Mind Slip. It's reroll plus make your opponent discard a card. Things of such nature. So what I like to do personally when I do play this deck, though, try to take as many cores off the field before each team attack as possible. Just, you have a higher chance of winning just because of the lack of cores on the field. And overall, things that this deck does well is the core control, but it really lacks a lot of utility outside of rerolling. I don't have a lot of hero cards to be able to boost up my dudes, so they can lose fights if this is really relying on them knowing how to really being really bad at rolling. I don't really have them overall. It doesn't really have a lot of other good stuff, though. Sky's Hymn, though, is a really good card that I actually use. If I had another, I probably would run a 3 of in there. I only have 2. I run 3 of everything other than Haos Blessing and Sky's Hymn and Pact. I only have 2 Pact, but you do want to run a 3 of everything. And this works fairly well. It's probably my best deck that I do own, even though it's probably not the highest tier deck, but it is, other than Pact of Darkness and Stand Together, a pretty cheap deck. Most of these are pretty common cards, other than Sky's Hymn, Stand Together, Pact of Darkness, of that nature. Most of these are just commons and uncommons, so it shouldn't be too overly hard to find them. And yeah, it works pretty well. and I do hope that y'all have a good day.